I am the contrarian, and this is my world.
Hi, I'm Prashanto Roy and I'm here today to debate with the contrarian today on whether smart devices will intrude into our privacy in a life-changing way. Well, of course they are, but we are quite used today to trading privacy for convenience.
So your television that can actually hear everything that you're saying, a laptop that can see everything that you're doing, and a fitness band that can even tell people when and if you were having sex. This is technology today, and the big question that comes up is, are we giving up security, our privacy for convenience? Are we looking at the amazing bright lights of technology, not realizing that the spotlight is on your personal life? That's the topic today. So, this is a topic that I think you're so perfect for that you could well be the poster boy for this, right? So we'll start off by finding out which way are you leaning? You were flexible before we started. Which way are you leaning now, using all that flexibility?
Well, I believe that going forward, the facts are that manufacturers will continue to test the frontiers of privacy. And just as Google is fine with checking your mail to see what AdWords to pick to give you ads for, Samsung will be fine with using that information it picks up from microphones in smart TVs, and then actually maybe share it with third parties to give you targeted advertising and so on, unless such a huge fuss is kicked up that people protest. That's one direction. The other is the hackability of these devices. The Internet of Things gives rise to a whole set of smart devices which, just like mobile phones and email, gave you an access for spammers and people who are criminals to actually approach you with stuff, and then gullible people would fall for that. Just like that, the smart devices are actually going to give another channel of hackability and access to hackers.
Let me play devil's advocate and really push the envelope with you a little. Okay, so a lot of people say the very term security and privacy are absolute and total oxymorons now. When you went online, you anyway gave most of it away. So in a world where this is the way it is, you can either be a hermit and go to the Himalayas and take yoga positions and just give up all technology, or forget about whining about your privacy and security. Which is the right way?
Well, I think between the 0 and 1 extremes, the black and white, you'll have a lot of people who are concerned about privacy enough to say that, okay, I'm not going to give my mobile number out everywhere and I'm not going to publish it. Those same people will say, okay, I'm going to be concerned about something that's hackable from the outside, or a TV that listens into what I'm saying and potentially reports it. But unfortunately, not enough people will know about it or be educated enough about it unless something big explodes in the face. So I think it's inevitable that you will have this stuff, the technology staying ahead of what people can kind of keep up with.
All of these things means you'll be surrounded anywhere you go, right? And I have the knowledge. Then what? What do I do next?
Okay, so I believe systems, policy frameworks will evolve at a global level. The countries in which a lot of these technologies are developing, especially parts of Western Europe, but mostly the United States, is fairly concerned about privacy, although their privacy has been violated more than probably in any other place. So I expect things to evolve there. What I am hoping will not happen is that these will land up here and it'll be left to the government of India to look at a framework, because they'll simply say, oh, it's spying, ban everything.
You gave an example of Google reading your mails and ads, right? Today, you can go to any website, get out of that website, and suddenly every single custom ad is now tracing you as to, did you not want that ticket, the one that that shoe that you looked at, that deodorant that you really need? I mean, where is it that you've seen a backlash even from informed, educated users? Tell me one.
Well, there was a backlash. People protested. Google clarified. There was disclosure. Google explained why it was snooping in on your mail in an automated way. No humans were doing it. Okay. But two things happened. One, Google gave that disclosure, and now people are aware. Most people are aware that it happens. And B, Google is a monopoly. In that space, it dominates. If you come to the devices space, that's not going to happen. So if you have a Samsung facing a TV problem like this with a backlash because people have suddenly realized, hey, the TV might be snooping, there'll be other manufacturers who will
Samsung
lead
has
the
also
way.
given a disclosure that all we are
Now.
trying to do, yes, well, even, well, every single company that does it, let's just trace down some of the biggest, Google, Facebook, or you have the companies that have actually had things like Truecaller. Every one of them has only come up with a statement after and to call it a backlash would be a real stretch of the imagination. Some people that actually did protest about it and therefore it made news. At least some media people did and therefore it made news, and they had to come up with some part to retract and some part to give as an explanation. How has that changed? They're still doing the exact same thing, and that backlash that came, how does it make it better today that it's automated and no human being is reading your mails? It's not about what somebody is reading that is personal of mine, it's what they are doing with that data, right? So how has that changed and where's the backlash now?
So I believe the difference with the Google example is that monopoly versus a hyper-competitive space.
Okay.
So it would be natural for any of the competing, a Sony or a Philips or anybody else to look at the Samsung example and say, best practices, now we should not only not repeat that, but go to town saying that, hey, we are transparent, we have disclosure, here's what we do with
So
your
you're
data.
saying, let's just take a very simple example. So Samsung says this is what we are doing, and LG says all our voice commands are built into the TV and never ever leave the local area. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, and there'll be peer pressure among the manufacturers toward disclosure.
You're really saying companies need to come and say, we're not as advanced, we've got to stop all this march of technology because the Internet of Things needs to die out now. Because if you do what you're claiming might happen, I think it will slow down process and progress dramatically.
No, I believe that the peer pressure will be toward disclosure. What you do with that information, of course, if there are interesting things that are being done with that information and you can portray a user benefit, like for example, get better ads and get free stuff or whatever, then people are probably going to be okay with that.
Okay with the fact that the TV hears them at all times?
So a lot of people are okay with their Fitbits reporting sexual activity. Some people are okay with that.
Are they?
Yes, so I think...
I've heard only the married people are and nobody else is.
Well, yeah, so if you go down to the details of, okay, when, like for instance, when you were supposed to be in office and at that time your Fitbit on Google and then your wife is logging in, that's a problem.
Now let's get down to, I think, some of the other concerns which are very real. There must be a lot of people watching this show with horror, saying that, I didn't realize my smart TV was doing that. I didn't realize voice commands were like that. I didn't realize that a mobile phone always waiting to hear a trigger word means it's monitoring all conversation because it's got to take a trigger word from all conversation, right? And the fact that some of these things are being sent to a server, right? So there is obviously going to be some people who will say, I can't believe this all is happening right now. So to all those people right now, what's the worst case scenario?
I think the worst case scenario has already been seen online. So in the United States, if you Google how to make a bomb, you will get a SWAT team at your doorstep within, 3 minutes or something. I think that's the SLA they've talked about. Okay, here too, people have reported when they have searched for things like bomb, etc., and they've been the targets of investigations, then those have been reported in the police report. So that worst case scenario has kind of already gone there. We've gone there. Translating this into the Internet of Things, you clearly have situations where parts of your house can be taken over. Security, the easiest thing to imagine is the security front door access can be compromised, and it can be compromised remotely because many of them have remote access.
You've painted a terrible, it sounds like a movie gone wrong about the future. So would there be then a thought process that maybe till there are no better regulations, till we don't get this part, because what we're talking about is an unprecedented amount of technology entering every person's life. And like you very clearly said, some people may have the knowledge, most won't. So if you take that scenario and that there still will be a lot of people that will get technology to enter their lives without knowing what that technology is capable of and what other people are capable of doing with that technology by hacking into it, your worst case is a nightmare. Could this part where we are entering right now, the Internet of Things, require a backstep?
I don't believe so, because the thing is that wherever we've gone with technology, we've seen these challenges. Now, depending on how serious you are as a country about privacy, let me give you an example. Japan put electricity meters 10 or 12 years ago with M2M, machine-to-machine reading, the predecessor to the Internet of Things. And they realized that when they put that in a city block, you could drive by and in 30 seconds get a map of which houses were occupied and which were not.
Correct.
They took it off. Germany did the same thing, they took it off. In India, we've gone ahead with electricity meters which have machine to machine. So you can do so much of stuff with just mapping information from the so-called big data that comes out of a set of devices that, you don't need the next wave of the IoT to really do bad things if you're a bad guy. So we've got to fix that problem and not the tech problem.
So there you have it. The man I called the poster boy of this topic has finally given you the verdict. So I think the way we'll end it is this. So every TV that actually can hear you, watch you, every notebook that can actually also do the same, every phone that is in front of you could be hearing your conversation. So all of this put together is the march of technology. It's not going to stop. It will only become better. But the one part that could actually be the most important is knowledge. You being aware that every shiny new thing that you actually will buy can have a dark side. See you next week on The Contrarian. Thank you, PK.